All right. Looks like we are live. Today we're looking at a deal. It is a 3-bed, 1-bath. Make sure dot is working. 3-bed, 1-bath. Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80909, 3-bed, 1-bath, 1235 square feet. It's a subject to deal, which means that we will be taking over the existing loan subject to the existing financing at $339,999 conventional loan. PITI 2490.3, interest rate is 6.99%, entry fee is $29,000. So low entry fee. Already says it does not cash flow as a long-term rental, but that's all right. Let's go ahead and keep analyzing the deal because it's going to be good for practice anyways. So the first thing we're going to do, right, if we go through our process, first thing I'm going to do is open up the property and do a quick street drive-by. Nothing sticks out right now, but big multifamily right there. Just hoping sure it's not the projects or anything like that. In Colorado Springs, I mean, these properties aren't in terrible condition. So, all right, next thing we want to do is we'll look at the condition of the property. So when you go through the photos, all right, I'll probably just replace the carpeting there. For an affordable housing rental, that kitchen can probably be okay, but I think we can make it look really nice by replacing the carpet, putting LVP. This bathroom looks great, so no bathroom renovations needed there. Some landscaping, probably need that. All right, next thing we want to do is go to tophap.com and look up the crime score. So once you plug in the address there on tophap.com, you go to the neighborhood section. Oh, this is a pretty high crime score, actually. I personally wouldn't invest anything above like 130, but this is 149. That seems really high. Maybe I didn't notice something in there, but for me, this is probably too high. But you never know whether or not it's because the population is really small, and when you divvy it up over distance and population, it might be really high, but it's still a little too high for comfort. But let's keep going. All right. So next thing we want to do is we want to get the county. And once you get the county name, you're going to be able to just get that right from Redfin's listing history. So El Paso County. So when you go to HUD FMR, you're going to Google HUD FMR. You're going to click on the first link, access the smart air FMRs, look up 2024 FMRs, click on the state, and then you're going to click on the county. Now you're going to see that this zip code is 80909. So you're going to be able to find 80909. So you're going to get the fair market rents right here by bedroom count, by zip code. So you can see that the FMR right here for a 3-bedroom is 2060. So let's write that one down in ours, 2060. And then the 4-bedroom rent is 2420. I always grab the rents for a additional bedroom because you never know whether or not you can get creative enough to add additional bedroom and then increase your rents there at the same time. And then the next thing I want to do is get the market rent. So you go to affordablehousing.com, go to market rent estimator, plug in the address. Plug in the address, plug in the bedroom count, and then you're going to see that the rents for a 3-bedroom, we focus on this number here on the far right. For 3-bedroom properties, you're going to look at 1905. Yeah, 1905. 1905 for 25 units within a 0.68 mile radius. 0.68. Let me just write these numbers down. 0.68. 1905. Let me get the other numbers in here. 1994. 1972. And then 1791. Cool. Then I want to get the rents for a 4-bedroom, just in case there's ever an opportunity for me to add additional bedrooms and see if there's a lift. You can see that when I went from 3 to 4 bedrooms, the rent only went up by less than $150. So for me, that's probably not going to be worth the additional renovations here. I'm probably looking for at least a couple $100 to make that worth it, because you'll probably end up spending 20, if not 30 grand on converting garage, or maybe it might be cheaper if you're converting existing square footage, but that's not enough of a lift for me. So for today, I'm going to be underwriting the rents using 1900 as my rent, not 2060. And that's because usually there is a test. It's called the rent reasonableness test. The rent reasonableness test states that you cannot charge a rent higher than what the market deems is comparable for a similar property with similar amenities. So you can't charge more to a voucher holder simply because they're a voucher holder. So I'll put in 1905 in here for now. But again, if you remember what we talked about, right, the whole point of this is to not burn out from analyzing deals. So at this point, if you see that the rents here that you're going to get for this property is 1905, and you see that the PITI is 2490, chances are you're not going to cash flow. So that's what makes it not a deal. But we're going to keep going through the process so that you guys can see why is it actually not a deal. So subto balance 29,000. So I'm gonna assume that it's $19,000 to the seller, a $10,000 assignment, 4,125 for a closing cost of 2.5%. I got 339,999 for this property. This is a 6.99% interest rate, 6.99. So I'm gonna write that one in. I'm gonna assume that this was started last year, just to kind of keep things simple here. So I'm going to assume my purchase price here is going to be equals to the balance plus the cash to seller of 19,000. Again, I'm just backing into it to get a rough estimate on the cash flow. And I'm also going to zero out the second loan because the second loan does not apply. That was from yesterday's scenario analysis. And I'm going to go into the rehab calculator now. And I'll put in some money for termite issues just in case. It looks like it's vacant. So I'm going to put in some money for a water heater just in case there's so many issues there. I'm not adding an extra bathroom. I'm going to replace the toilet for at least one of the bathrooms. Not going to put in a microwave. Not putting a washer dryer here. I'm going to put in the square footage, which is 1235. And I'm going to assume I'm going to paint the entire place at $3 a square foot. Now, I saw, if I remember correctly, most of it's in carpet. 1 room, 2 rooms, 3 rooms, 4 rooms. Most of it is in carpet. So I'm going to assume I need to replace flooring on the entire property. I'll probably just reduce it by 35 square feet since the bathroom looks fine. So that gives me a total rehab of roughly 21 grand for this property to get it to super above average condition. And this is how it rolls out into not a deal. If you see that it's $360,000 purchase price, let's get in the PITI. So the PITI here is 2490.3. It goes 2490.3. And I'm backing into getting the taxes and insurance number simply from getting the PITI number that's been disclosed by the wholesaler. And I'm subtracting the principal and subtracting the interest rate to back into my property taxes. I'm then going to add another $35 a month to simply account for that my insurance policy is likely going to go up, especially if it used to be a primary residence property and now it's turning into an investment property. So that's why I'm adding extra $35. I got 10% set aside every single month for maintenance and repairs and prevent expenses, etc. 10% for property management, 3% for vacancy. So this is why this property results in a negative 1905. This is a negative $1,000 cash flow. 58. So this is clearly not a deal unless you have $1,000 to reach into your pocket and support your little endeavor here. So this is not a deal. But they already said it's not a deal, right? But the whole point of why we're doing this is because we want to figure out how and what rents look like in this area and if this is a market that we ever want to pursue. So for me, I probably, because of a couple items, if I saw that Cromwell was 146, 149, that's probably not the area I want to invest in personally. So I might not ever look at a property again in the 80909 zip code because I want to buy properties in an area where people want to stay, where people don't feel like they're in danger whenever they live, or maybe they just want to be in an area where their kids can grow up in a safer neighborhood. So for me, that's important. That's my own investment criteria. Again, this is not a solicitation for any investments. Hey, Danny, you could just DM me your email at investwithkenhe on Instagram, and my team will send the calculator to you. So this is how I figure out this is not a deal. If it's negative cash flow, I usually try to look for 10%. I'm assuming this is already a creative finance deal. So unlike the property that we underwrote yesterday on the market, where we played around with different scenarios to see what would make this a deal, since this is already a creative finance deal, your chances are you're not going to be able to play around with it because they're already letting you take over the underlying loan subject to. However, that's still not a deal. And that's probably because the interest rate is so high at 7%. So that's not really attractive here. So that's it. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. This is day 118 of going live. Let me know what type of feedback you guys have, what other type of properties you guys want. If you guys ever have property that you want me to analyze, you can also DM me that too. Cool. All right. Have an amazing day, everybody. Enjoy your Friday with your friends and your family. And we'll be back here again, analyzing a deal again tomorrow.